Warriors of the ancient earth, not in distant lands, but right beneath our feet. They are an unstoppable force of nature. Humans have been around for what? A couple of 100,000 years? A blink in the grand timeline of Earth. But ants? Ants have been crawling around for over 160 million years. Yeah, you heard that right. They were chilling with dinosaurs while our ancestors were just getting the hang of walking on two legs. So, if anyone's got dibs on this planet, it's probably the ants. They've seen it all. Mass extinctions, ice ages, and now, us. They've earned their spot as Earth's OG residents. Over 12,000 species have been discovered, and that's just scratching the surface. Scientists think there might be thousands more out there just minding their own business. Now, if we're talking sheer numbers, ants are killing it, literally. The global population of ants is estimated to be around 20 quadrillion. To put that in perspective, that's about 2.5 million ants for every human on Earth. Imagine that army coming at you. Yikes. If we could somehow weigh every living thing on Earth, ants would make up a staggering 20% of the planet's biomass. That's right. If you piled up every ant on Earth, they'd weigh about as much as the combined mass of all the humans. Ants are basically the unsung heavyweights of the animal kingdom. So next time you see a little ant, remember, it's got a lot of friends, and together, they're a force to be reckoned with. Individually, an ant isn't much to write home about. Tiny, easily squishable, and not particularly scary, right? But ants don't roll solo. They're the ultimate team players. When millions of them band together, they become an unstoppable force. This is where the magic happens. Ants have mastered the art of teamwork to a degree that we humans can only dream of. They coordinate attacks, build massive colonies, and farm their own food, all thanks to their collective power. Ant societies are like the ultimate example of staying in your lane. Every ant has a role and they stick to it. You've got the queen, whose job is to lay eggs, thousands of them. Then there are the workers, who gather food, take care of the young, and maintain the nest. And of course the soldiers, who protect the colony and fend off enemies. Each ant knows its job and does it without complaint. It's like a perfectly organized company, but without the annoying team-building exercises. In the world of ants, war isn't the exception, it's the rule. Every day, millions of ants are at war with each other, fighting over territory, food, or just because they ran into each other. An ant colony can house up to millions of ants, and they're not afraid to throw down. These little warriors kill an estimated 30,000 other insects daily. And what do they do with the bodies? They bring them back to the nest as food. Waste not, want not, right? Ants don't discriminate when it comes to killing. They'll take down anything in their path, other insects, spiders, and even other ants. Some species, like the bullet ant, are known to attack creatures much larger than themselves. And don't even get me started on their penchant for raiding wasp nests. That's right. These tiny soldiers will go after wasps, creatures that are many times their size, and make off with the loot. It's like a heist movie, but way more intense. You might wonder, how do ants know who's on their side? They've got a built-in ID system. Ants can tell if another ant is part of their colony by their scent. If an ant from another colony tries to sneak in, it's game over. The intruder gets attacked immediately, and before you know it, the soldiers are all over it. This level of loyalty is hardcore. Imagine if humans could sniff out intruders like that. When two ant colonies meet, it's not a friendly chat, it's a battle. Different colonies have different ways of fighting. Some go head-to-head in massive clashes, while others might try to outflank their enemies or cut off their resources. These battles can last for hours, even days, with thousands of casualties on both sides. The goal? Total domination. It's survival of the fittest, ant style. Before we continue, please like this video because our channel is small and new, and your likes are a huge support for us. But who usually wins in these ant wars? Well, it turns out that the ants fighting closer to their colony often have the upper hand. They know the terrain, have quicker reinforcements, and are fighting to protect their home. It's like having home field advantage in sports. It makes a huge difference. The ants that have to travel further to fight are at a disadvantage, which is why territory is so fiercely defended. So what tips the scales in these ant wars? It's all about numbers, strategy, and coordination. The colony that can mobilize its forces quickly, use the terrain to its advantage, and overwhelm the enemy with sheer numbers, usually comes out on top. Ants also use pheromones to communicate, laying down chemical trails to direct their troops. It's like having a built-in GPS that helps them coordinate attacks in real time. Pretty high tech for something without a smartphone, huh? Every ant colony has its guards, soldiers stationed at key points to watch for intruders. These sentries are the first line of defense. They're the ones who sound the alarm when they detect danger, sending out a chemical signal that alerts the entire colony. Once the signal goes out, it's all hands or legs on deck. The soldiers mobilize, the workers retreat to safety, and the queen is protected at all costs. It's like a military base going into lockdown mode. Let's take a detour and talk about one of the most fascinating ant species out there, the leafcutter ant. These guys are like the farmers of the ant world. They don't eat the leaves they cut. Instead, they use them to cultivate fungus, which is their primary food source. A single leafcutter colony can have up to 5 million ants, divided into different castes: the soldiers, the workers, and the smaller ants that take care of the fungus. The soldiers are massive compared to the workers, sometimes up to 100 times heavier. Talk about a size difference. Horse ants are some of the largest ants out there, and they're no pushovers. But when it comes to farming, the leafcutters are the undisputed champs. Horse ants, on the other hand, are more into foraging and scavenging. They're not as organized as the leafcutters, but they make up for it with their size and strength. It's like comparing a farmer to a hunter. They've got different skill sets, but they're both formidable in their own right. If we're talking about sheer power, the title of the strongest ant colony probably goes to the army ants. These guys are the stuff of nightmares. They don't build permanent nests. Instead, they're always on the move, marching through the jungle in massive swarms. An army ant colony can have up to 20 million ants, and they're always hungry. They'll attack anything in their path, from insects to small animals. Even humans have to be careful around them. It's like a rolling wave of destruction. Army ants are the ultimate warriors. They have no permanent home, so they're always on the move, hunting and raiding other colonies. Their raids are terrifyingly efficient. Once they swarm, there's no stopping them. They use their sheer numbers to overwhelm prey, and their mandibles are strong enough to tear through flesh. These ants have even been known to bring down animals much larger than themselves. Their secret weapon: coordination. Army ants move as one, following the pheromone trails laid down by the leaders of the swarm. Here's the crazy thing. Ant wars aren't just happening in the jungle or the forest. They're happening everywhere. In your garden, in the cracks of the sidewalk, under the rocks in the park, anywhere ants are, there's a battle going on. These wars might be tiny, but they're constant. Ants are always fighting for resources, territory, and survival. So next time you see a couple of ants in your backyard, remember, there's a good chance they're part of a much bigger conflict. For those of you who stuck around until the end, I recommend these 2 videos for your next watch. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until the next video, stay curious and full of energy.